Hey everyone, it's Kong again with another episode of Should You Summon. As always, I'm going to be presenting high-level overviews to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. So let's get right into this Origins of Light Destiny banner featuring the King of the Red Moon, Young Jessica, and Dieharte. The banner runs from June 9th to the 22nd, and as a Destiny banner, the first SSR you pull is guaranteed to be one of these three heroes that you don't already have. After you pop that guarantee, or if you already have all three characters, it becomes a normal raid up with a 20% chance to get any off-banner hero in the regular summoning pool. The other Elwyn, Leon, and Bernhardt banner has been run so many times now that I don't need to do a full breakdown on that one, so I'll just put it up as a short. Anyway, let's get started with the King of the Red Moon. King of the Red Moon is a good addition to AoE rush teams. He deals increased AoE damage, extra fixed damage to his AoE targets, and he heals himself a certain amount per enemy hit with AoE. His 3-cost skill teleports him in, casts an AoE, steals buffs from the victims, debuffs them, and halves their healing. It also has a passive effect that cloaks him for a turn after he gets attacked, reducing incoming AoE damage, stripping 3 of his debuffs, and making it so he can't be targeted. Finally, he has a 1-cost revive skill that he can actually recharge. After he deals damage to enemies 5 times, his revive will be ready to use again. So his MO is basically to charge in, splash the enemy, usually get killed in return, but then revive and be untargetable for a while. He's a member of Origins of Light, buffed by Dieharte, Jugler, and Freya, Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizaroth and the Sage of the Trees, and Dark Reincarnation, buffed by Bozel and Licorice. For bonds, he doesn't unlock anyone else's bonds, at least for the time being, and he needs Brenda for his defensive bond and Shalinka for his attack bond. For content, in PvP he didn't really make a big splash in China, but the global meta was more willing to embrace him, with a lot of people adding him to their AoE rush teams back in Season 8. He's fast and he has a blast, so if you give him some follow-up support he can definitely be overwhelming. He's also a strong unit in Magic Tower Conquest auto chess mode for whenever that comes back. Next up we have Young Jessica. Young Jessica is a magical DPS with a transformation skill that reduces her mobility but boosts her skill range by 3. This synergizes with her talent, which increases damage depending on distance from your target. Her unique headwear gives her a conditional act again on a cooldown that lets her cycle her own cooldowns more effectively in conjunction with her transformation skill. She's a member of Origins of Light, buffed by Dieharte, Jugler, and Freya, Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizaroth and the Sage of the Trees, and Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, and Grenier. For bonds, she unlocks the attack bonds for Emilia, Nomi, and the Light of Genesis. For her own bonds, she's just going to need Liana for her attack bond. For content, she's on faction for Valkyrie and Scylla in the Eternal Temple, and she's actually quite useful against the latter because she can stay out of the danger zone and lob spells. In PvP, her incredible range and variety of tools, AoE, quick cooldown single target, and healing, make her an interesting but still uncommon option for the right box. Finally, we have Dieharte. With his SP class and Fairy Spirit troops, Dieharte has become a meta-relevant assassin for the time being. He has a unique helm in the Secret Realm shop which lets him stun an enemy within 3 spaces after getting a kill. He also has a 3-cost skill that allows him to steal buffs, ignore guard, and heal back up, plus it makes his helmet stun trigger even if you don't net the kill. His new SP 2-cost skill is kinda like a personal faction buff. He can pick any female ally on the map and boost her stats and his own. If she's a member of Origins of Light, there are bonus effects, but they only kick in if Dieharte or the buffed unit dies. He's a member of Origins of Light, buffed by Dieharte, Jugler, and Freya, Meteor Strike, buffed by Zerida and Epsilon, and Protagonists, buffed by Matthew and Emperor Lavina. His normal faction buff for Origins of Light grants an additional 15% damage when you have 5 or more buffs, but it's so rare that he actually ever wants to equip this skill. For bonds, he unlocks the attack bonds for Dios, Freya, Gerald and Layla, Kirikaze, Lifany, Luna, Silver Wolf, Sophia, and Tiaris. For his own bonds, he needs Kirikaze for his defensive bond and Tiaris for his attack bond. For content, in PvE, before Oboro launched, he was briefly a top-scoring pick versus Jormungandr in Ancient Beckoning. On the PvP side, his SP upgrade, closely followed by the release of the Fairy Spirit troops that let him fly, did indeed boost him back into meta-relevance in Apex Arena. He can move far, and he can get kills. He's not quite as reliable as some of the other top assassins, and he absolutely relies on getting critical hits. All that matters is he has a pre-attack move again, a post-attack move again, a guard ignore, and a stun. So let's move on to the notes for noobs. King of the Red Moon is good in a specific kind of box in Apex Arena. One that's not exactly dominant right now, but which may make a comeback a couple of seasons from now. He's good for auto chests too, but the bottom line is he's a PvP unit, so only bother with him if you want to use him in an AoE PvP box. Young Jessica isn't a necessity for any content right now, but she is a decent all-round mage. She may not be as blatantly overpowered as her Tensei counterpart, but she'll be able to help a newer account cheese its way through some PvE content. I wouldn't recommend summoning specifically for her for PvE purposes, but if you do end up with her by accident, don't be sad. Finally, we have Dieharte. Dieharte has bonds. Even if you weren't planning on using him as a PvP assassin, which, let's face it, if you're summoning him from scratch, that's a big investment at this point, the fact remains that he unlocks so many bonds. Mostly for kind of side-tier characters, but they're certainly important for Tiaras at least. Anyway, bonds. Finally, we've just got my usual reminder about upcoming banners, and this is the last week of this cycle, so next week should see the launch of the new characters Oboro and Azusa. The Kruger and Werner banner is still MIA, and there's no real great place for it to drop back in next month. Let's see. After Oboro and Azusa, we have a week where we're supposed to get Cortez and Toa, and both Yu Yu Hakusho crossover banners. That's 3 banners, so I doubt Kruger and Werner will drop in there unless the crossover is cancelled. The week after that is supposed to be a Destiny banner with the Knight of Mystery, Hilda, and Rainforce, alongside the return of the limited Watham banner. So that's another packed week. The week after that, of course, should be the final week of the update, and like all good final weeks, it'll have 2 recurring Destiny banners, Autokrato, Maya, and Nomi, and Bozel, Liana, and Luna. So I don't think this looks good for our crossover rerun hopes. I really hope I'm wrong about that. Anyway, I'm not summoning on either banner this week, still holding out hope that next month we'll see a lot of action. I'd like to get both new characters for collection purposes, same with my missing YYH characters, and then if you don't have them already, Cortez, Hilda, and Watham are all big pickups. Thank you so much for watching, I wish you all the best of luck in your summons, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members for generously supporting the channel directly. Shout out to Levitt, Derek Gunderson, Kate Soon, Jared Portela, Eden Seal, Jerome Meyer, Shara Ilimirius, and Harambe.